Okay, so I wanted to give you guys an update on the documentary and the fundraising, I guess you'd call it, the rustling up of donations, and more importantly, and most lucratively, the shifting off of Blu-rays. Not all these are definitely staying, but the biggest amount of revenue that I've managed to rustle up for the documentary project has been through Blu-ray sales. So first and foremost, I just want to thank everyone who donated, because that to me is a bit more I don't know, humbling than someone buying a Blu-ray. But I do appreciate people who are buying stuff, because that's getting the ball rolling on the equipment you're about to see in this video. I'm going to do a quick unboxing and show you guys what I have bought so far for the documentary, the storage equipment and some other kind of bits and pieces that will help me along the way. And yeah, so thank you to everyone who's donated so far. Really appreciate it. And it's just, it's nothing big. It's like £5 here, £10 there, and it really added up quick. And so I wasn't sure what was going to happen, whether people were just going to like shit all over it or just completely ignore it, which probably would have been better, I suppose. But it's been really positive. I've had a lot of great feedback, some nice messages, and more importantly, some nice donations. And also, people have reached out to ask what I'm selling on Twitter, and I've made a few sales. They'll be going out this week, and I've managed to make my first order of pretty much a big bulk of what I wanted. It's just the SD cards that are left now, basically, and the second hard drive. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's crack open the box, and I'll show you what's inside and why I've got it and why it'll help me out with this project. Alright, so there's a whole bunch of stuff in here, and I'm going to show it all to you in order. So there was another thing which didn't arrive. It took an extra day to get here. I'll show you that one first, actually. It's the hard drive. It's a Western Digital 4TB hard drive. I have no idea if there you go. So I trust Western Digital. It's the brand I've used for a long time. I remember way back when, in like 2009, when me and Connie first got together, and she had a 128GB Western Digital hard drive, which was a tough son of a bitch. That thing really held on. But that's mainly what I've used over the years. Seagate was another brand that I used, but I trust the Western Digital brand, so to speak. So the 4TB one, this will be for the documentary, and only for the documentary. And I do want to get a second one to mirror that stuff and back it all up in triplicate, essentially, with the SD cards. Where is okay, this one I'm really intrigued by. This is a memory card case. So this is something I've wanted for a very long time. Like this, going back to when I lived in Norway, I thought it'd be good to get something to just house my memory cards in, because I have so many SD cards, and I have a very small camera case, which isn't really good for even carrying the camera around. I just kind of keep them all in there. So it's kind of protected, but at the same time, I've never had any kind of special protection for my SD cards. I just kind of store them smartly, I suppose. And this thing is just not coming open at all. But I thought, okay, this is something I need. So I checked out what options there are, and this one seemed pretty interesting. So, oh, this is interesting. I thought this was going to be more of a matte finish when I bought it, but it's kind of a glossy, kind of cheap feeling plastic, I have to say. But it reminds me of those old handheld kind of game things that you'd get. They weren't like a console, but it was just one game on it. I think my stepmom had a Zelda one. So it unclasps there and on the inside you can house, I think, 12 SD cards or 24 micro SD. 24 micro SD cards. So I have a couple here just to show you and just to see for myself. But this is just good to have, and if I'm bringing along extra ones, and they slot in really nicely, that's quite cool. But I've never had a problem with these, even if I store these like that side out, like That's not going to focus on that. It's too small of an object, isn't it? Put my hand in the way. No, it ain't happening. Okay, well, there's these little kind of, you know, the receiving end of it, I suppose. And these are quite dusty as well. So I mean, this is just a good idea in general to store my SD cards in something like this. Now I don't know how easy it will be to get them out again, so I'm going to try that now. But yeah, so I'm looking to get a couple of 256. Oh, that's really easy to get out, so that's really nice. It's a nice soft material on the inside, so you can store all your memory cards in there. Sounds like I'm doing a fucking product placement plug here. I'm not. And then you close it on the clasp. And there we go. So that will go in the camera bag that I bought. I'll show you that in just a second. What's next? Okay, this is something that I was kind of annoyed by with the camera, which is this camera runs off to charge it runs off an AC adapter to a micro USB cable. And the micro USB cable is about this fucking long. And the AC adapter is about that long. So to charge a camera is fine. But this camera is also built for like live streaming and what I'll be doing, which is long form interviews. You know, and I've tested the battery out. The battery on this camera is pretty good for filming. It lasts for about 2 hours, but I might want to go just over 2 hours. So I want to kind of plug the USB cable in and just keep the thing running off power. But there's if I have it on a tripod, it's not even going to reach the ground to plug into the mains. So I got a longer micro USB cable. Now, it was really hard to find the ones to go for. I think there's 2 in this box. So I got these 2. Those will never focus because, oh, there you go. So I got these 2. That was the key to cross them over. Yeah, so I got these 2. Now they're not focusing. But yeah, anyway, you've seen them. This USB cables. There's nothing special, but you know, you look up stuff, and every type of cable I looked at on Amazon, there was someone who said that they're terrible and they broke within the first 2 days or something. So I went for ones that weren't super cheap, but at the same time, it didn't feel like it was going to be worth. I mean, you can't even find any that are like super expensive. Even these are supposed to be gold plated. So, I mean, I don't know how much more durable or reliable those will be because of that. You can kind of see the gold out of focus there, but yeah. Anyway, USB cables for the, I guess, one to use, one for backup in case the other one dies. And then we'll show you this. There's the camera bag. I'll get to that at the end, actually. This is the main thing that I wanted to get. I mean, obviously the storage, as I said, was paramount, so maybe that is a lie. The storage is the main thing, and the SD cards will be my next purchase. My birthday's coming up soon, so I'll probably just get birthday money from family, and that'll all be going into SD cards, and anything further that I get from the donations will be going into the SD cards and the second portable hard drive, so that I can mirror everything and have everything that I need, basically. See, you get kind of dragged in when you look at accessories for cameras and stuff, and say, "Oh, little light fixtures you can put on the top." It's not. I've got lights. You know, I don't need to go crazy with this. But this was something. There was one other thing. It was like a hand grip, which I think I really would like to get something like that. The Sony one is like 120 quid. Feels a bit too much. There's one that's around 50. That's gotten quite good reviews. You can use it as a mini tripod, which I'm not interested in, but it's like basically to hold it and stabilize it while vlogging. And I don't really want to vlog with this camera that much, but there's a few on-location stuff that I want to film for the documentary that'll be just a lot smoother if I have something like a little hand grip or something like that. So I'm looking into one of those, but this was something that, and hopefully it's good. If it isn't, I'll send it back, I suppose, but this is a microphone that is made for Sony cameras. So if I move my head out of the way, will it focus a little bit? Okay, yeah, so this basically affixes to the top of the camera with, they call it a hot shoe? I don't know, I'm not a camera guy. You'd think I've been making my own films and movies and videos for 20 3 years. You'd think I'd know a little bit more about cameras, but my experience with kind of DSLRs, or in this case mirrorless, is very limited. But I know that it plugs into the top of the camera. Now, the reason that I felt like this would be a good purchase is, in a sense, for backup, but also for the on-location stuff, as I said, because this comes with one of those, the dead cats. Connie was like horrified to find out, there's like all sorts of cables in here and stuff. Connie was horrified to find out, a little carry case there as well. Oh, that's a horrible texture. Oh my god, I hate that. I have dry skin, eczema, and this kind of like fluffy, like sticks to your skin material is absolute nightmare fuel. So it comes with the muffler, the little the dead cat thing that you put onto the microphone, and Connie was horrified to hear that that's kind of the slang term for it. But it's I've looked at tests on YouTube of how wind in outdoor shooting is softened by this little muffler, and it's pretty damn good, and it's something that I think will be helpful for me in many projects, but mainly for this one with the on-location stuff. But also, what I think this might be really handy for, I'll just take it out first and show it to you and take a look myself. It's very small. Like I don't know what I was expecting really, but yeah. So this is the Sony stereo microphone right there. Let's see if we can get some sort of focus on this. I could try and just change the focus on the camera. I'm not sure if I can do that on the fly. I can. There we go. Yeah. So this little thing. It's a stereo system, so you have these two microphones on the front there, and I think all you have to do is pull them, and they go outwards like that, so that you basically get more of a surround kind of sound feeling, which is cool. But I'll be using it like this on top of the camera, and if we go back off the spot focus there, and I can stop worrying about the focus. There we go. Is that gonna... No, I still need to figure out the filming a video like this with myself is a little bit more interesting with the focus, but it'll be fine when I'm behind the camera. Alright, spot focus is not what I want. How do you cancel it? That's the thing. Okay, still ironing out the kinks with the focus, but this is the microphone. I'll show you what it looks like with the muffler on top of it. But yeah, so I didn't mention, so the main thing, the backup that I'm thinking of, this is the muffler there. Alright, I'm kind of getting distracted by the, trying to get things in focus, and, oh, this is interesting, there's like a strap on the inside? Not sure exactly how this thing is supposed to, I think the strap is how it holds itself on, I suppose. Yeah, okay, that makes a bit more sense. But you affix it over the microphone, and I believe there's also an option on the microphone to, yeah, low cut, so it'll kind of drown out things. But yeah, so like a little muffler there for wind filming and so on. But finally, when I'm filming the interviews, if I put this on the camera and I use it to record the audio of the interviews, if my USB microphone lags, which it sometimes does when I'm recording through a laptop, it'll just lag, and it's just, you know, it misses things in the recordings. That's happened to me a lot, and it's no matter what laptop I've tried. I don't know whether it's the fact that using Blue Yetis with laptops is not ideal, and that using them with PCs is much more stable, but I've had problems with that. So if the sound drops out, then at least I'll have a good quality, or at least better than the onboard microphone on the camera quality. Although you're hearing, well, no, you're not using, I'm recording quality. So yeah, I'm just kind of rambling here, but hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. This will be a good backup and hopefully good for location stuff. But by no means is this like a high-end kind of microphone, but it is one that is very much built for the Sony system. And finally, we have the bag. I did look at the Sony branded bag, which looked nice enough, and was maybe like a couple of pounds cheaper, but I really like the look of this one. purely because of how compact it is. It's nice and rectangular. The Sony one had big bulky things, and it was like kind of a rounded thing. I like this to just tuck away in a corner somewhere. Obviously, this will be good for taking the camera with me, but also just to put my camera in when I'm at home. I feel nervous about leaving this camera anywhere, so this is a very simple camera. I'll take off the straps here. Very simple camera bag. There's a rain cover bag in there, and I guess this is the carry strap. I'll look at all that stuff later. You get an adjustable compartment on the inside, so that's where the camera will go, and obviously a lens if you have an extra lens. I will save the silica gel to eat later, as always. And I think this, there's a little kind of compartment here with a Velcro strap. Maybe I could pop in the, where is it now? It's gone. I'm drowning in stuff. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Maybe pop that in there, perhaps. Maybe that would slot in nicely. But then I'd probably keep it on the inside to keep it more protected. There is a little thing on here which I'll probably put maybe the USB cable. I guess that slots in. So there isn't a huge amount of extra space in this bag, but I'm not like, I don't have loads of kit, you know. So for me, it would be the camera in one side, maybe the charger and the microphone in its little horrible carry cover. But yeah, that's it. That is that's the update. That's the stuff that I've purchased with the money that I've raised from the Blu-ray sales and the donations, and an Amazon gift card as well. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, especially when it's something like this where it's not it's not like an exciting project, and it's not something that I don't know. I'm not offering you anything. I'm not offering you like incentives. I'm not giving you like rewards, you know. And I'm not promising that it's going to be a great final project. Just that it's something that's super personal to me. And so, I really appreciate the support and help on this. And I look forward to getting the ball rolling with making this thing. And I'll try and update you along the way with where it's going. I actually yesterday. Got a whole bunch of DVDs of my mother's side of the family, all their home video archives, which has nothing to do with the subject of my documentary, which is my grandfather on my father's side. But there is, on one of those DVDs, pretty much the only known footage I know that exists of him talking. And even then, it's a bit like it's a speech at a wedding, but getting to see that was something, and I'll have to use that in the film somehow. But that's one of the other things about this documentary, that my memories of him are so elusive, and there aren't a lot of videos, you know. But anyway, so that was just a side family project, but I kind of digitized the entire. That's just crazy to me. Like, my granddad used to film home movies from the 70s on like 8mm tape, all the way up to like the 2010s. It got lesser as the decades wore on, but there's a lot of stuff from the 80s and 90s. My mum and my uncle were kids when I was a baby. It's kind of emotional to go back to some of that stuff that I used to love watching when I was a kid, seeing myself from a few years earlier as a baby. And but anyway, I'm just getting way off track. But you know, to have like this massive kind of decade spanning footage and just being able to scan it through onto the computer within like a day. It's pretty crazy how technology runs ahead so fast, but there you go. I mean, I could take out the portable hard drive and show you, but you know, you've seen these things before, you know what they are. So that one came after the fact, outside of the main box. So all that is really left for me at the moment is possibly a hand grip. That would be really cool, but not essential. And then also just the SD cards. And I think I'm just going to go with two 256 gigabyte SD cards. I think shooting in like 50 megabytes per second, like high quality on this camera, high definition 1080p, not going to 4K. I think about an hour of footage is about 20, well, it's a bit over 20 gigabytes. So 256, I think you probably be about 10 hours, I think. Let me think about that. 20 times, yeah. So 10, maybe like 12, 13 hours, maybe we'll say 12 on one of those cards. So 24 hours worth of footage on 256 roughly SD cards. So I think I'll start there, and obviously I can start, I'll put all my old ones in here. I don't think I have, like, how many would it be, 12? I might do, actually. I might have 12 SD cards, but I can obviously swap some out. It might be time for me to now actually start writing on these things so I can start differentiating what footage is on what, and specifically with this project. So yeah, and I did look into, like, maybe, like, would it be cheaper just to get loads of 128 gigabyte memory cards, but it's around the same price. So I think just to save space, even at this point, it'd be a good thing to just get the 256. I've never got a 256 gigabytes SD card before, which makes me nervous that maybe the performance might not be the same. But I've never had a problem with an SD card before, especially the brand that I use, which is SanDisk. So anyway, that is that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this very random video. Thank you once again. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.